of the Hubbardston Planning Board for February 16th. Planning board meetings are broadcast live, typically, and digitally recorded, typically. This meeting is being held in person, and if we can get back online tonight, we will also hold a component of it virtually through Zoom. Pursuant to the COVID-19 rules allowing public meetings to be conducted remotely so that board and committee members, as well as members of the public, can participate remotely. I guess with that call to order, do we have a publication problem for the meeting because we're not online and we advertised it as a hybrid meeting?
Is that legal?
Yeah, is that an open meeting issue? Alice, do you know?
I don't know.
I think it is an issue. If you say you're gonna have it online and you're gonna record it, and what if something's important that we're gonna do tonight that people wanna be a part of it?
Well,
And now,
They can always come back to the minutes.
This is where I'd like to be able to research it online. And read the frequently asked questions.
Oh,
hey,
geez.
I don't think you can do that tonight.
I know. Although weirdly, I'm into the Google Drive. I'm just not,
really?
it's just a really awful connection. I got into the Google Drive and I'm into, no, it's an old version. It's the cache version. It doesn't show the stuff from tonight.
Okay, yeah.
So I guess what are our thoughts on that? Because we have published we published the agenda for tonight. We published it as a hybrid meeting. We know at least one member was looking to participate and has some key issues, and there could be members of the public that were looking to
I
participate.
don't think that's legal.
I don't think we can.
Well, I'm flying out an 8:00 flight. I'm not packed, so it won't break my heart.
Okay,
Where
so.
you going?
I'm going to a funeral in Minneapolis.
Oh, I'm
Which is
sorry to
kinda
hear that.
sad,
Yeah.
but we'll have a lot of old friends there.
I'm
The
sorry
best
to hear
man at
that.
our wedding 50 years ago
Oh, wow.
died of prostate cancer.
That's
Very sad.
So I guess let's just talk about scheduling, because we're gonna have to do something. So the couple things that are on our agenda for tonight that are particularly important are, we're gonna go through the proposed solar bylaw revisions,
Mhm.
because I think we're just gonna revert to the old one. So I think we're actually pretty close on having something that just works. And we probably would have got through that tonight. We're gonna look at the other zoning changes, the ones that require a town meeting vote, and we discussed pretty much all of those at the last meeting.
We did. I was just gonna bring up one minor change that I sent in the version to the select board. But we don't need to do
Yeah.
that tonight.
We were gonna discuss correspondence on the complaints. I don't think we should be doing that, because that's not just scheduling. And inventory.
Sort of not anticipated by the chair that I don't think require a public hearing
Mhm.
is I want to resign as of March 1st.
As of March 1st.
I know, don't cry, it's
Well,
all right.
Mark.
Well, I'm taking over daycare of my granddaughter,
Okay,
which is like,
full time.
well, when you're 70 and you're like
Yeah.
me, I'd be sitting here with my head on, it's also prep time, it's everything, right?
Yep.
And I worked through my own kids growing up, going to meetings every night. My mother was the same way, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna be a grandma. So anyway, I love you guys, it's been a great time. I wrote a letter, I'm willing to, I don't think it has to, I don't have to resign at a meeting though.
Yeah.
So
you
my
don't
thinking was
present
if I put my letter in tonight, and said I'll resign March 1st, or sooner if you have to get appointed, and then you gotta get sworn in if she's gonna be it. I'm saying in my letter, I hope you appoint Eric. Eric is willing to do it. So, I know it's
Well,
our
it's
decision.
the appointment's made by the
The only
select board.
opportunity to do that is their meeting of the 21st. And I don't know if,
Can they get that on the agenda?
I don't know
I mean,
Let's-
if you need me to be later, I can bump it later, but it's
Let's
gotta
talk about
happen
that, because I think what we also need to talk
fairly
about
soon.
the scheduling, that is an important thing that we need to
Maybe.
talk about in the scheduling, because we also need
Okay.
to talk about what we have to do to make sure that these things get on the town meeting warrant. So I don't know if we end up having to drop a meeting in before
if you need me to stay to March 15th or something, I could do that, but,
So from a timeline perspective, the select board,
It depends, well, I mean, the select boards, it's already off to the select board.
yeah,
So they are going to review it on Tuesday and presumably boomerang it right back to us.
and that's the bylaw changes that's the other zoning changes requiring town meeting vote,
Right.
not the solar, they didn't put that on
Right.
yet.
Right.
'Cause that was pending tonight's discussion, although,
So, and at that point, I mean, there's no vote of the board required to advertise for a public hearing, I don't believe. I think you and I can just do that administratively.
Yeah,
So I don't think there's absolutely, from that standpoint,
okay.
in terms of getting the public hearing rolling, I don't think we need to schedule a meeting next week, say.
Okay, so
But
then.
depending on what else is going on.
So then I guess that leaves the solar bylaw revisions. Alice, you thought that's pretty close to, it just needs a final,
well, the bylaw, I mean, I did it every way you can imagine. I did the interlineation to the changes in the existing bylaw, you got that copy, right? And then we also rewrote it. And then it went off to MRPC for a year.
Yeah.
But they weren't bad they were good there are
So-
issues still, I suppose. I mean, there is the issue of maximum, minimum, cause those were sort of discussed but never finalized. I'm happy to come back and talk about that or just submit comments or something if you want, but
well, I guess procedurally is really, so yeah, we would love to have you come back as an honored guest to just talk about
oh, there's a good
some of your
solution.
thoughts there.
we'll send you a letter.
Yeah, and, but,
Our next scheduled meeting would be the 1st, which is before the select board's next meeting after
Mhm.
Tuesday.
Just, you
So
want my
I-
resignation to be March 15th, I don't really care, I just need to get this sort of situated for April to
Right.
take over.
I think
when she
from
goes
a-
back to work.
So if we meet at the regular meeting on the 1st and you think you can conclude the business on the solar bylaw that night, there's still time to send it to the select board for their meeting on the 6th.
Mhm.
Does that give us time? We would have to, actually, that'll factor into whether we wanna have a combined public hearing, what we advertise for a public hearing. If they get it on the 6th, we could advertise for a meeting, a public hearing, either the 3rd or 4th week of March, either one, if you don't feel that you need
Mhm.
further discussion after the public hearing. If you need further discussion after the public hearing, then it would have to be the 3rd week of February, third week of March for discussion, 4th week of March, and submittal for warrant articles.
I guess so ultimately the question is, I think if Francois was here, because he's pretty invested in it, and if Alice, you were willing to hold on one more week.
I won't, I'll be out of town on the 22nd.
It would be on the 1st for us
First,
to
yeah, okay,
finish
I
it.
can do that.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, so if you would
Hang on to my letter.
perhaps hold that resignation until the
Till the
2nd.
Can I see it?
My letter?
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow, was it effective midnight then on the 1st?
No, I just
Was it-
arbitrarily picked March
Yeah.
1st, or if she could get sworn in sooner, whenever she was
So-
sworn in.
There is a shredder right here, though.
Okay, so then procedurally, that all makes sense, and I think we're completely within our right to talk about scheduling and procedural
Yes.
even with other
We're not overstepping
issues.
any bounds.
So, that sounds like a pretty reasonable plan for me. And I don't think we should touch any other substantive business because of what happened with the internet and the fact we published this as a hybrid meeting, so.
Right.
So here's a
Yes.
question for you though, what, the process for appointing anybody to an empty chair, is, you had to put a notice up to solicit. So if I were to say, announce my intention to resign tonight, say March 15th, could you get that process started?
I think you can also just do that in a letter to me with a date on it, and
Yeah.
then
An email would
I'll ask
suffice
the
for that,
select
wouldn't
board,
it?
Yeah. Well, you already wrote a letter, just.
Well, now it has the
Right.
wrong date on it, but that's all right, but you know what I mean? So you could make this seamless as we can?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, absolutely,
Okay,
and we,
and then it'll be, so I'll make it the 15th or earlier if you're sworn in and approved, and.
Well, I'm sorry to
so
see you go.
Well, I know, but you can
It's
only
been
do
a lot
so
of,
much.
I know.
You know,
I'm
what is
getting to
Ecclesiastes,
that
there's a
point.
time, yeah.
And
I'm
welcome
not
to
saying
the
I'll
board.
never.
Going to the end of her appointment.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
you
she
get
she got
voted
2
in.
years,
Right.
but I figure, you know, all this stuff comes up in the spring, I mean, aside from the fact that my babysitting starts, it's better to do it now than
Right.
when we're halfway through some permit for whatever else it
Right,
is.
right.
the appointee has to run in the next election.
Oh, yeah, she's ready to run.
Yep, so that would mean this May election.
I'll get your signatures for you.
Okay.
Just hand
That's the
hand
date.
it to me and I'll canvass my neighborhood.
All right, so, yeah, if you have any procedural questions or anything about that, any of us would be happy to talk to you about it, so. I guess, I should entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion at 6:47.
All right, hearing this is a record, hearing a first and.
I'll second.
Hearing a first and a second, not debatable, so let's have the vote.
Live till I.
Woman's eye.
Monroe, aye, we are adjourned.
Wow. And you know what? This is a record also. We didn't really do anything.